You already tried something on that drain. Baking soda, maybe? A kettle of boiling water? Something you saw online that was supposed to work in 5 minutes, and it did not. And now you are standing there looking at water that will not go down, wondering whether the whole idea of a home remedy is nonsense and you should just make the call. I can tell you why it failed, and I do not need to see your sink to do it. 9 times out of 10, it is not that the method was bad. It is that you used a bathroom fix on a kitchen clog, or a kitchen fix on a bathroom clog. Those are 2 completely different problems that happen to look identical from where you are standing. Grease is not hair. Soap scum is not food. And the thing that dissolves one will sit there and do absolutely nothing to the other. So I am going to give you 12 ways to open a drain with no chemicals, no snake, and nobody in a van. But before any of them, I am giving you the rule that tells you which one to pick, and stay with me to the end, because 2 of these 12 will cancel each other out if you run them in the wrong order. Nearly everybody runs them in exactly the wrong order. I will name them. It was 2011, and I was under a kitchen sink in a house that had been built before the Second World War. The homeowner had been at that drain for 3 weeks. She had a shopping bag under the counter with the receipts still in it. Baking soda, vinegar, a plastic hair-grabbing tool, 2 bottles of the blue stuff, and a bag of salt. $60-something of trying. Every single one of those was a real product that works on something. None of them worked on what she had, which was about 11 years of cooking grease laid down the inside of that pipe like wax running down the side of a candle holder. She had been buying hair clog tools for a grease clog. That is the whole game. So here's the rule. If the drain is in your kitchen, assume grease until proven otherwise. Fats, oils, cooking residue. It goes down warm and liquid, and about 2 feet into a cold pipe, it stops being liquid and starts being a coating. It builds up the same way plaque builds up in an artery, narrow and narrower, until one noodle closes it. Grease clogs need heat, or they need something alkaline that turns fat into soap so it will rinse away. If the drain is in your bathroom, assume hair and soap. Hair goes down and catches on anything, and then soap scum, which is the film that forms when soap meets the minerals in your water, glues that hair into a mat. That mat is not going to dissolve. Heat does nothing to it. Alkaline powders do very little to it. Hair clogs need to be physically pulled out. Pour a grease solution on a hair mat, and you have wasted an evening. Reach for a hair tool on a grease coating, and you will come up with nothing on the barbs, and swear the tool is junk. Now, the money. A plumber to unclog a standard sink or tub in your house right now runs about $100 to $275, with the national average sitting right around $246. Kitchen drains with grease in them run $150 to $300. And a lot of shops charge you $59 to $150 just to come out and look before anybody touches anything. Call after hours, and the average for a sink or shower jumps to about $450. Everything I am about to list totals under $10, and most of it is already in your house. Number 1, the hot water flush. This is first because it is free and because it is the one people get wrong most often. Heat softens grease. It does nothing whatsoever for hair. Here is the part that matters. Do not use boiling water. Boiling is 212 degrees. The white plastic pipe under most sinks is rated for about 140 degrees. And above that, the wall of the pipe starts to soften and the glued joints start to let go. Aim for the 120 to 140 range instead, which is hotter than your tap and cooler than your kettle. Fill the kettle, then cut it with cold tap water until you can hold your hand near the steam without pulling back. And a slow drain is the worst case for this because the water does not pass through. It sits there against the plastic. That is how you turn a clog into a leak behind a cabinet. Porcelain is its own problem. Sinks, tubs, and toilet bowls crack from thermal shock. And those cracks start as hairlines you cannot see for a year. In a toilet, hot enough water will also soften the wax ring at the base. And now you have sewage seeping under your floor instead of a slow flush. Pour it in stages. 2 cups, wait 30 seconds, 2 more. You want repeated waves of heat, not one flood that goes past the clog before it has warmed anything. Number 2, dish soap and hot water. Same pour, 1 addition, and it is a real upgrade on grease. Squeeze a good long pull of dish soap straight down the drain. Let it sink for a minute or 2, then run your hot not boiling water behind it. Dish soap is a surfactant, which means it breaks fat into droplets small enough that water can carry them off instead of beating up and resticking. It is doing to your pipe exactly what it does to a roasting pan. Cost is maybe 15 cents. If the drain moves a little and then stalls, that is a good sign. It means you soften the front edge of the grease, but the body of it is still there, and you go up a level. Number 3, washing soda. This is the heavyweight of the pour-in options. Washing soda is sodium carbonate, sold in the laundry aisle in a yellow box for around $5, and it is a different animal from baking soda. Much more alkaline. Alkali plus fat is the actual chemistry of soap making. So what it does to a grease coating is convert it into something that rinses. 1 cup down the drain, then just enough warm water to wash it down past the trap rather than leaving it sitting in the bowl. Then leave it. Overnight, 6 or 8 hours, nobody runs that fixture. In the morning, flush it through with your hot water. That is roughly 50 cents a treatment against a $150 call. Number 4, making your own washing soda. If you have baking soda in the cupboard and no washing soda in the house, you can convert one into the other in your oven, and it costs you nothing but the heat. Spread baking soda in a thin layer on a baking sheet. 400 degrees for 1 hour. Give it a stir once partway through. What comes out is grittier and duller than what went in, and it weighs about 2/3 what it did, because you have driven off the water and the carbon dioxide, and what is left is sodium carbonate, washing soda, the same box you would have paid $5 for. I want to be exact about the temperature, because you will see 300 degrees repeated all over the place, and 300 is too low to finish the job in an hour. You will get a partial conversion and a powder that behaves like expensive baking soda. 400. Before I go on, one thing. Everything I am walking you through comes out of 40-some years of finding out what actually holds and what just sounds good. I put the rest of it in a book called 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. It is the one I would hand you if you wanted to know which questions to ask a contractor, so you are not just nodding along, and how to tell when a cheap patch is genuinely fine versus when it is going to cost you double in 2 years. Link is in the description. And there's a QR code on screen if that is easier, right? Enter the brown bottle in your medicine cabinet. Number 5, 3% hydrogen peroxide. This one is not really for the clog. It is for what is coating the pipe around the clog, which is biofilm. The slick living layer of bacteria and soap residue that grows on the inside wall of a drain. That film is what makes a drain smell, and it is what everything else sticks to. A cup of ordinary 3% drugstore peroxide, poured in and left an hour or overnight. It oxidizes the organic film and breaks down into water and oxygen, so there's nothing harsh left sitting on old pipe. A bottle is about $1.50. One hard rule: never mix it with vinegar. That combination makes peracetic acid, which is corrosive and rough on your eyes and lungs. And in a closed trap, it will off-gas and build pressure. Peroxide goes down alone. Number 6, salt. I am including this because you will run into it everywhere, and I would rather you heard it from me. The claim is that half a cup of salt plus hot water scours the inside of the pipe because salt is coarse. It sounds reasonable. The plumbing trade does not back it up, and neither does anybody who has actually tested it. To abrade the full inside surface of a pipe, you would need a genuinely large volume of salt, and dumping a large volume of anything but water down a drain is how you create the next problem rather than solve this one. Salt does nothing at all to hair. On metal pipe, repeated salt is mildly corrosive. Where it is not useless is as a minor helper on grease and soap film alongside the soap and the heat. Marginal. If you have it, throw it in with number 2. If you do not go by it. Somehow the salt trick has outlived a dozen things that actually work. That is the internet for you. For a while there, the pouring approach will carry you. Slow drains, smelly drains, kitchen lines that need a reset. That runs out the moment there is an actual physical mat down there. And now we stop pouring and start pulling. Number 7, plunging done properly. Plunging has a bad reputation, and it earned every bit of that from people doing it wrong. First, the right plunger. The plain cup, the one that looks like a red half ball on a stick, is for sinks, tubs, and showers. The one with the soft flap folding out of the bottom is a toilet plunger, and it will not seal on a flat sink basin. Cup plunger for sinks. About $8. And that is most of your $10 budget right there. So it is the one thing on this list worth actually owning. Second, the piece almost nobody does. Find the overflow hole, the little opening near the top of the basin, or the plate under the tub spout. Stuff a wet rag into it and hold it there. If you skip that, every push you make sends your pressure straight out that hole instead of down at the clog. You are pumping air in a circle and wondering why nothing moves. Third, standing water. You want 2 or 3 inches over the cup because water does not compress and air does. Air squashes and springs back. Water transmits the whole shove down the pipe. Then push and pull, 20 seconds, without breaking the seal. The pull matters as much as the push. Number 8, the zip strip. For a bathroom drain, this is the highest return per dollar of anything I know. It is a long, flexible plastic strip covered in backward-facing barbs, about 25 inches, a couple of dollars each, and usually sold in a 3-pack for under 10. Pop the stopper, feed it down until it stops, twist it a half turn, and pull it out slowly. What comes up is going to be genuinely unpleasant, and that is the point. You are removing the mat whole rather than pushing it deeper. That is the kind of number that makes accountants cry. A $3 strip against a $200 call. for the single most common clog in the house. Number 9, the wet vac pull. If you own a wet dry shop vacuum, you own a drain tool. And this is the one nobody thinks of. Every other method pushes. This one pulls. Set it to wet, take the paper filter out, wrap a wet rag around the hose end to seal against the drain opening, and run it. It will lift the clog up and out rather than driving it further down the line where it becomes somebody's expensive problem. 2 conditions, and I mean them. Wet-rated vacuum only, never a dry household vac, and plug it into a ground fault outlet, the kind with the little test button. Water and motors need that. And leave the paper filter out, because wet paper turns to mush and burns the motor. Number 10, taking the trap off. This one is not clever, it is just certain, and I would rather hand you certain. Under your sink is a piece of pipe bent, like the letter J. That is the trap, and it holds a little water on purpose, which is what stops sewer gas coming up into your kitchen. It is also where nearly every sink clog actually lives, because it is the first place the water has to change direction. Bucket underneath first, then the 2 big plastic collars, one at each end, and those are meant to turn by hand. If they will not, a pair of pliers gently, but hand first. Turn them until the trap drops into your bucket. Dump it. What comes out is usually the entire problem in one lump. Rinse it, thread the collars back on by hand, snug them, run water, watch the joints for a minute. 10 minutes. $0. And unlike everything above it, this one does not depend on the clog cooperating. Number 11. Enzyme and bacterial cleaners. Different category. This is not for the drain that is blocked tonight. It is for the drain that keeps going slow every 4 months. And it is the right answer for a house on a septic system. These are live bacteria and the enzymes they produce, and they digest the organic material coating your pipe rather than burning it off. Anywhere from $10 to $20 for a bottle that lasts months. Because they are biological, they do not kill the bacteria your septic tank depends on to work, which is exactly what caustic cleaners do. 2 to 4 ounces last thing at night, and then nobody touches that fixture for 6 to 8 hours. For a drain that is actively sluggish, repeat nightly for 3 to 5 nights, then drop to weekly. It is slow. It will not open a hard blockage tonight, and anybody telling you otherwise is selling something. What it does is stop the clog forming in the first place. Number 12, the coat hanger. Free, and last on the list for the reason. Straighten a wire hanger, leave a small hook bent at one end, and feed the hook in down a bathroom drain to fish out hair you can nearly reach anyway. It works. It is a worse zip strip. 2 limits. Keep the hook small and go gently, because wire scratches porcelain, and if you feel a hard stop, stop. And never take a hanger to a toilet, because the trapway is a curved, glazed passage, and once wire scores it, it catches paper forever. Now, the safety piece, and this is the one I do not soften. If there is chemical drain cleaner sitting in that drain right now, do not plunge it and do not open the trap. Not until it is flushed through with a lot of water. Plunging pressurizes caustic liquid and sends it back up at your face. Opening a trap pours it over your hands and into the bucket. Drain cleaners send roughly 3,000 people a year in this country to be treated, and about 1/3 of those are burns. There's a reason a lot of shops will not work a drain for a day or 2 after a homeowner tells them they poured something down it. We are not being precious. We just do not want it on us either. So if you have already used the blue stuff, run water for several minutes, wait, and only then go mechanical. And know when this stops being your job. If one fixture is slow, it is your fixture. If the toilet gurgles when the washing machine drains, or two or more fixtures back up at once, that is the main line, and no amount of soda and plunging touches a main line. That is the call worth making. Right, the thing I promised you. The two that cancel each other out are number 1 and number 11. The hot water flush and the enzyme cleaner. Enzyme cleaners are live bacteria, and heat above roughly 140 degrees kills them. So when somebody flushes the drain with hot water and then immediately pours in their $20 bottle of enzyme cleaner to make sure it really works, what they have actually done is sterilize the pipe and pour the bottle away every time. And they will do it again next month because nothing appeared to go wrong. Enzymes go into a cool, quiet drain. Last thing at night. No hot water before, none after, until morning. The same thing kills them if you chase them with a caustic cleaner, which strips the enzymes apart. And that is the wider order for all 12. Soft is first, then mechanical, then the trap, heat and soap, then the alkaline soak overnight, then the plunger, then the pull, then the trap and the bucket. Enzymes on their own night, cold, for the long game. You go down that ladder in order and you almost never reach the bottom. If that is the kind of thing you would rather know before it costs you, the book has more of it. 100 old house fixes that save you. Thousands. It has the seasonal checklists, what to walk around and look at in spring and in fall, and a good deal on catching a small leak while it is still a stain on a cabinet floor, instead of after it has come through a ceiling. Link is in the description, or scan the code on screen. And if you want more of this, more old house fixes that keep the money in your pocket instead of somebody's van, subscribe to Roger the Pipe Guy. The question was never which of these 12 is the best one. All 12 work. The question is which one your clog is. And until you have answered that, you are just spending evenings. Go look at where the drain is. Kitchen or bathroom. Start there.